Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the last TBR of the year. But first, let me apologize for the lack of content in November. I had so much planned. I promised you guys to bring all the videos that I didn't get around to in October, and then I ended up having a really bad cold. You might still hear a bit of it lingering in my voice, but yeah, that cold knocked me out basically for 2 weeks, and the rest of the month I was kind of scrambling to catch up to work, and work as a whole is getting more stressful towards the end of the year. So I ended up reading a bit, but not as much as I wanted to, and don't even ask me if it was on my TBR for November or for the bucket listathon, because it probably wasn't. So I'm glad that I said that the bucket listathon or readathon will be a bit longer for me and will run into December, because I still want to get to those books. I'm going to link it up above if you want to see all of my plans for that. But for now, I promised you guys to do this in November and I didn't, and I promised you guys that I was going to do it in December, and I want to keep that promise. So we're going to play the next round of Just Slay the TBR, my Christmas version of my usual TBR game, Just Beat the TBR. And as you can tell, there is a difference between the two boards. In this one, we of course have the winter theme, but we also have an advent calendar on the board. So there are 24 advent calendar doors, and whenever I pass over one or land on one, I will read a book that was predetermined to be under said door. And another thing that is different to the normal board are some of the characters. Normally the players that we have on the board would be different genres that I could read from, but this time around we have the gingerbread man, which is a cozy read. We have the cat, that is a seasonal read. The elf, anticipated read. We have the snowman, which is a winter read. And then we have Santa, who stands for a book that features family. And of course, we can't forget the reindeer, which means that I would have to read a book with an animal sidekick. There are also different weapons on the board. And with the weapons, the format is still the same, because the weapons mean a different format in which I could read a book. But just the item itself is different. So we have the candle, a bit more Christmassy candle than normal for ebook. Then we have for paperback gloves. We have the hot chocolate instead of the coffee for hardcover. Then we have an audiobook. Instead of the headphones, it's the beanie. And instead of a blanket, which would also work for this winter themed, it is an ugly Christmas sweater. And this is one of two where it changed the meaning of it. Instead of a graphic novel, it's read during the holidays. And then we have the present, which was the wand, which I think was just a free choice. In this game, it's the present, and it says to treat yourself while reading. And I think those are the only things that are different from my normal game. And if you're new here and you've never seen me play my usual board game, I'm sorry. Welcome. My TBR game is based on Clue, but instead of trying to figure out who it is, we already know who it is, because that is our game piece, and we are trying to reach the murder scene and commit the crime of slaying my TBR, and we have to pick up the murder weapon on the way. On the way there, we land on other prompts that I have to fulfill with books, and once we reach the final destination, the murder scene, we have to use the murderer prompt, the weapons prompt, and the final destination, the murder scene prompt, in order to find our final book for the TBR. It will all make more sense once I play. And like I said, the special thing about this board is that we also have the advent calendar. Now behind the advent calendar, there are only winter and Christmas themed books. And I did that last year just so that I can use every other prompt that I get for other reads that I still need to get to. I really do hope to finish some of the books that I've started this year, and other books that I've been anticipating for a very long time. And I just wanted to have a way of putting them on my TBR without forgetting about the Christmas books that of course I want to read during these festive times, and that is what the advent calendar is for. So let's go ahead and go back to when I did my first roll. here we go. Let's get our Christmas TBR on. Welcome to Just Slay That TBR. Before we start, let's find out which cozy creature we're gonna be this time around. These are already shuffled, but let's shuffle again. And we're gonna start with the Gingerbread Man, which means a cozy read. And he's right here. Now let's figure out where we need to go first. We're going to the candle, which means an ebook. And the candle is over here. So this is already the way that we have to go. And the final room where we have to go after we get the murder weapon is going to be a secret until I'll show you once we reach the candle. And it's going to be this one. And I'm going to put it over here aside and we'll come back to that. Okay, let's roll for the first time. I'm going to go with 2 die this time just because the journey is a bit longer and it's going to be a hectic month. 7. So we got a 7 and I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Never mind. I thought I could get to the double, to the roll again. So I could go to these 2 places, or I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would also get 2. So I think I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and pick up 2 Christmas books. 1 behind door number 21 and 1 behind door number 4. It started off great. I do like that we have kind of a way to go over the board, so the TBR will not be too small, but the game was still nice enough to give me 2 Christmas advent calendar doors right from the get-go without having to get another prompt. And so we landed first on the door number 21, and behind this door we have Escape to the Northern Lights by Carrie Walker. This is set in Norway and our main protagonist is like a high-powered woman. She has the job, the life that she wants, but then she kind of has burnout and needs to go on a retreat. And she thinks she's going to Norway for like this spa treatment and for this very like spoiled kind of vacation-esque retreat, but instead she is just in the wilderness and she kind of has to fend for herself in this new environment. And I love that we have this setting with the woods and the snow, and I do hope that the representation of burnout will be not taken too lightly and that we actually have a good representation of it. And I do think that we need this representation also in these holiday themed books. And yeah, I just hope it's a cozy time and that she kind of finds her way to a more mindful life during this retreat. I'm not even sure if this is set during the festive times, but it is set in Norway during the colder months because there is snow, and so I presume that it will take place in December or January. Then we landed on door number 4, and behind this advent calendar door there is one of my most anticipated reads, like holiday reads of the year, and that is Picnic Energy, written by Kristen Bailey. And Kristen Bailey is fastly becoming one of my favorite romance authors. She can actually do no wrong, which is also why I will read this book even though it has kind of like a love triangle plot in it, which is something that I would normally stay away from. But with this author, I do think that she knows what she's doing and she will make us proud. And so in this one, we follow our main protagonist and she has a choice to make at the end of the day between two Nicks. So she has an ex-boyfriend, Nick, who is in finance. He has the glitz, the glam, the life that she thought she always wanted, but he's an ex for a reason. But she stumbles upon him and they kind of rekindle their romance. He seems to have changed. He has like this 5-year plan now and he's ready to settle down. And at the same time, or around the same time, she stumbles upon a farmer also named Nick. He is the very opposite. He is, like I said, a farmer of like Christmas trees, I think, and he is very laid back, has the Christmas spirit, all of that. And she kind of starts to date both of them, trying out like what works for her and her life now. And I assume I already know the way it's gonna go. It has kind of like a Sweet Home Alabama vibe to it, but also kind of just with the all the Christmas vibes that you would want. And the funny thing about this is that the author's husband name is Nick, so he is the OG Nick, and I think that's just so funny. And yeah, like I said, I love her romances. I do believe she always has like a summery romance in the year, and then she has like a winter romance, so there is a backlist of it that you can go check out. It's always fun. And there's actually another Christmas read of hers in this, and that is of last year's. I think it's called something with three, Us Three Kings or something. So that is still in the mix behind one of these doors, so maybe I'll end up reading both of them. We'll see. Let's go and see if I actually get a prompt or if I land on another advent calendar door. Okay, let's roll again. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would give us a Mr. Body card. I could also go this route to see if I can get more Christmas books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another 2 books. Do I want a prompt or do I want 2 more Christmas books? I'm sure there will be enough prompts later, so let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we pick up book number 6 and the book behind door number 22. This game is saying to me, read all the Christmas reads that you want and need. It is a time to slow down and just relax. And the game is kind of forgetting that I still need to read other books. But this is where we're gonna go. We landed on door number 6, and this is again one of my anticipated reads. I had an arc for this, but I knew that I wanted to read this during December, so I kind of kept it on the back burner, and that is Miss Winter in the Library with a Knife. And yes, that is a perfect read for a clue-based TBR game, because of course it has this pun in the title from the Clue game, and the plot itself, again, very Clue-esque, because in this we have a very well-known author inviting other crime writers and other people, I think, who have to do with crime solving to this remote village, and they are invited to solve a fictional crime, so kind of like a murder mystery party. But when they get there, it does seem that there is more going on than the fictional plot of it. There isn't a murder mentioned in the synopsis, so I'm guessing they don't know what is real and what isn't. So I'm very intrigued to find out what else is happening. And of course there's a winter storm cutting them off from the outside world, and I'm just so intrigued to find out, and I want to put on my like detective hat and find out what is happening. And then we landed on the 22, and behind this door is actually a book that I have as a physical copy. Yay! And not just ebooks this winter. And it is Sarah Morgan's The Christmas Book Club. I have already started this one. I'm almost halfway through. I read this, I think, last year, and I just didn't end up finishing it. And I do want to get back to it. I remember really liking it. This is about, I think, 3 friends. Yes, Erica, Claudia, and Anna, and they have very different lives. They live in different parts of the US, but once a year they get together. They have a kind of book club meeting, which is just getaway with as friends, and just to catch up and read one book. And this time it falls on Christmas, and they go to this, again, very remote little village, and you have all the village in Christmas times vibes, but you also have the POV of the person who runs this inn where they end up going, and her name is Hattie, and she's a single mom. So there is like a lot of things happening in this book, especially since the three friends, because they have so different lives, they portray a very different lifestyle, and maybe the others assume things about the lives of their friends that isn't quite true. Everybody kind of has secrets that they want to keep close to their chests, but of course it all comes out, but in a very Hallmark version of it. And of course I do think that there is a connection to this city or this town where they end up going. And yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this. I'm not sure if I have to start over or if I can just go on. I might just have to read the next chapter and see if it all comes back to me, but I really want to get to this one during this Christmas season. Roll number 3. Double. Okay, so we have an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would be a Mr. Body card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Let's just go the direct way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a Mr. Body card. So these are the usual suspects, the Mr. Body cards, and the secret passages. And so we're gonna take the Mr. Body card. And that is a cover. And we're gonna roll another 4. And that means it's a cover with a list of characters in the summary. Okay, so the back cover, basically. Never had that one before. This was the 4, by the way, that I rolled. So I'm a bit out of practice, I noticed, with the camera work and everything. And we finally landed on a prompt, and that was a Mr. Body card, and we got a list of characters in the summary. What that means is I have some examples. So these 3 books actually have what I had in mind when I did this prompt. So House of Dragons, it says the liar, the soldier, the servant, the thief, the murderer, let the battle begin. So you have this kind of list of characters, and I'm assuming the POVs of them are in this book. The same is with There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. You have a prince exiled from his kingdom, a ruthless killer known as the Pale Hand, a once faithful leader torn, a reckless gambler, and a dying girl, So you have, again, a kind of list of characters in this. The Starless Crown by James Rollins has a broken soldier, a drunken prince, an imprisoned thief. Again, there's a bit more to the synopsis of them, like of each character, but it's still like a list of characters. Now, I do think that I want to get to them at some point. They are on my priority TBR, and I have done some reshuffling, and they are still on my priority TBR. But this is going to be a very full December and a very hectic thing, and I do hope to kind of catch up with the projects that I already had during the year that I didn't really get around to. So none of those 3 books actually work for me right now, which is so sad because those are the kind of books that I love. I love all of these different characters and storylines coming together, and it's kind of like the 5 Broken Blades series, which I also loved. And yeah, but I want to go back to one of the series that I wanted to have read already, but life just got in the way. And so I'm going to continue with Danielle L. Jensen's Tarnished Empire. This is going to be a reread for me. It's small, it's short. Because it's a reread, it's going to be just fun, and I already know that I'm going to love it. And it actually does kind of have a list of characters, because it does say the commander, the soldier, the rebel. So it's not... Well, I think it is. It is kind of what I meant, but not as much as the other ones. But I do think it counts, and I do want to get to this series, and I just kind of stopped and had to do other things. But I do want to get back to it, and the other two books are kind of chunky and I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to them in December, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe if I just get into it again, I can just binge all of them. So let's go back to our little guy. He's right here. And we want to get from here to the candle. There is no roll again anywhere near it, so let's just try to get there. That's a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We would pick up another Christmas book, and we would also get a Secret Passage. I think that's the way that I'm gonna go. I could also go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and pick up this Christmas book and then have a weapon. So, do I want a theme or do I want a weapon? No, I think the theme kind of speaks to me, even though the 18 speaks to me more than the 20, just from the look, because this is much brighter and stuff, but this is hard. I feel like if I go to this one, there might be a better chance of getting to the roll again if I need more room to go around in the house. So I think I'm gonna go the first way that I said. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pick up the murder weapon, 7, 8, pick up another Christmas book, and 9, which is a Secret Passage. This time we're gonna go roll for that prompt first, and that is going to be prompt number 3. So Secret Passage, trope, which is something that we did have before, and the third trope is, not sure if you can actually see it, it is competition. We get another Christmas book, and this time around we're not going to Norway, we're going to Alaska. So again, remote and wintry. Not sure if it's around Christmas time, but in this one we have the book is called Any Trope But You by Victoria Lavigne, and in this one we follow a character who is again a writer. I think there is like a theme going here. There's a lot of writing going on here, and a lot of having to leave your life behind in order to get your life back on track. And in this one we follow a romance writer who has kind of fallen out of love with love. She doesn't really believe in it anymore, and even though she's very successful, like on the side she kind of writes endings where there isn't really a happily ever after, and she never wants anybody to read it, but of course it gets leaked and she is kind of cancelled, and she's kind of like, I need to get out of here, let's just go. And so she goes to Alaska in hopes of starting a new career path by writing murder mysteries. And of course it doesn't really go as planned, and there will be a little bit of a love story there because she meets a guy, I think, where she's staying, again, like the innkeeper. That itself is a trope, but there is just trope after trope happening to her, and I guess she's very aware of it because of what she's writing. And I hope that the author of this really does make it work with us as the reader and the character as a writer, knowing about these tropes and just having fun with it, with them just piling on in this plot. I do hope that it just works. It sounds cute, and I am intrigued about her trying to be a murder mystery writer. I'm hoping that is something that will be a part of the story as well. I also know that I think she needs her career to work in order to help her chronically ill sister, and I do think that the love interest has an ailing father that he needs to care for. So I hope that this representation is also done well, and that it's not just for the effect of having someone to care for, but something that is really as a plot point in this. So we'll see. I am happy that this one got on here. Right when I saw the title of this, I just knew I needed to read it, and it sounds really, really fun. We are inching closer to the final destination, and the next prompt that we got was competition. And I'm so glad that I'm able to put this one on my TBR again, and that is For Wild Magic by Alison Saft. This isn't the typical competition as you would assume if you were going in a more like Hunger Games version of like competition that you usually have in these kinds of books. And in this one we have the Half Moon Hunt, and in it people are trying to kill, I think, a mythical being in order to earn fame and riches, and we have two main characters who have to work together. They don't really want to, but they need to in order to actually be able to compete, and they in turn like reluctant allies to lovers, I think is the trope. Oh, I think this is perfect for this tree. It's kind of like, ooh, is it there? Is it not there? Anyway. Yeah, so I have been meaning to get to this one because I loved Alison Saft's other book that I read this year, and I am hoping, even though it is a very different setting and kind of premise, I do hope that her beautiful writing and an ability to have like these beautiful character arcs will transport into this one as well, even though this one was written before the one that I read. So we'll see. I am very intrigued, and I heard good things about this, so I'm hoping to get to this one in December. And now that we have the weapon, we can actually go and find out where we need to go next. And our final room is gonna be this study, and that is actually a good place to go because it's right around the corner. I swear to God, I did not know that this is gonna be the final room when I chose to go this way instead of going to the murder weapon. That is how nice the game is today, to give me a very short second leg of the journey, basically. Let's roll again. And we have a 6. We need to get here, so straight way, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would give us a usual suspect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would give us a genre, but would also give us 2 more Christmas books. How many do I have at this point? I have 21, 4, 6, 22, and 20. So I already have 5 on my TBR at this point. Do I want to have 7? 7 Christmas books is a lot, especially if I can't choose them myself. I could also try to get to the roll again, so I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, damn it. Okay, I can't get there. Do I want 2 more Christmas books? I feel like that might be too much, that I might be pushing it. Okay, I could also just take the 1. I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I can also decide if I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I want to go to this usual suspect, or if I want to go to a genre. I think I'm okay with how many Christmas books I have already, so I think I'm going to go the other way. And I think I might go to the usual suspect to have another prompt and not just a genre. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 usual suspects. And those are right here, so let's pick one. Oh, let's figure out which prompt to use first. The prompt is gonna be 3. Can't, do you see? Yeah, 3. So, usual suspect, prompt number 3. It is from my own TBR, which is always a good thing. And the third prompt is to read a cover by. That's nice. The next one gave me lots of options because it said a cover by. And yeah, I buy a lot of books based on the cover, not gonna lie. But I do think that I want to get to this one in December. First of all, I have 2 arcs of this because I got the UK and the US arc for it. Don't ask. I was stupid enough to request both, not knowing that I had already requested it on the other side. And so I have 2 arcs of this, and I have the physical copy, and I do really need to get to A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. This is just beautiful. I couldn't resist buying a physical copy because of this cover. It's, I don't know, it just speaks to me. And the premise of this is sounding like something that I would love. We have this dancer from a royal court who is sent to prison by, I think, the king that she worked for because of something that she didn't do. And now she gets told that she could get out of prison if she works for said king that sent her there by being his spy at court. And so I think we do follow her as she's taking this opportunity to get her life back. And I do think this is going to be the fun fantasy, maybe fantasy romance that I really need in my life and that I used to love to read. And I feel like this goes back to like the OG YA kind of fantasy that I love. So I'm hoping that I will end up loving it. So happy that I can put this one on my TBR. So I only need a 1, 2, 3 to get into the study. Let's see if the gods will it to be. Yes. So we have a 7, 1, 2, 3, and we are in the final room. We are committing the crime. We're slaying our TBR. So the final book needs to be a cozy read that I've had for a very long time. So it's a TBR vet, and it needs to be an ebook. I think I can do that. So we reached our murder scene and we can slay our TBR, get those TBR books off our shelves and hopefully love all of them. And so for our final book, I needed to find a cozy ebook that is also a TBR vet. So something that has been on my shelves for a very long time. In this case, the digital TBR shelf. And I actually didn't find anything that spoke to me because of the cozy and the TBR vet. I don't know, it was just kind of So I decided to split this final prompt and make it cozy ebook as well as a TBR vet. And I'm going to start with the cozy ebook. That was very easy because I started this book in November and I really want to get back to it. And that is Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree. I love this series. This is the 3rd book in the Legends and Lattes realm, and we follow characters from the other books that I don't want to spoil anything. So that is for ebook and cozy for the gingerbread men and the candle. And then for the study, which is a TBR vet, I will go ahead and put The Teller of Small Fortunes on by Julie Leong. This I again have started in the past. I am 60 pages into it, but I'm guessing I'm gonna go back and start over. I have the arc for the sequel of this. I think it's a companion novel. I do think that you can read it separately. I'm not sure though. So I do want to go and read this before going into the other one. And I do think it is already out. If not, I'm going to put the date right here. But yeah, The Teller of Small Fortunes is about a fortune teller, but she has kind of made it a mission of only telling small fortunes because if she tells big fortunes, there's just too much pressure on her and her magic. So she only does like very small things that don't really have a big impact in life. But then she meets a couple of mercenaries and they're actually on a mission themselves. They want to find the daughter of one of them who was kidnapped, and they kind of ask her to help them, and she kind of gets roped into this rescue mission. And I did like the beginning. It wasn't as cozy as I thought it would be because this came out when this hype of the coziest fantasy releases was up there, and I don't know, it just didn't hit the spot for me. So maybe having this kind of distance to the release of this will help me having a different anticipating needs of what I want from this book. So I want to go back into it, and it is smaller than some of the other books that I want to read, so I do hope that I get to it in December. So those are the books for my TBR game. There are 3 more books that I want to mention. I do want to mention though that I am hoping, like I said, to finish some of my books that I started over the year. Again, like I said, I have done a reorganization of my shelves. There will hopefully be content to it in the near future. If not in December, then in January. But I kind of put together a shelf where all of my books that I bought this year that I haven't read yet are, and then another one where all the books of my priority shelf that I have started already but then softly DNF'd, I put them up there as well. And it's a lot, guys, and I have noticed in the past that I start books for a video idea and then I never finish them, and I do think that a lot of them are like high anticipated reads, and I'm probably gonna rate them high because I have enjoyed them when I started them. So I do want to get to some of them so that I can say that I have read them in this year. But there are 3 books that I want to mention now that are priority reads as well. One of them is a buddy read, and that is A Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. Again, we have the book inside the book trope, and in this one we have an editor who gets the latest crime novel from one of her best-selling authors, and she thinks it's just another book that she has to edit, but then it kind of seems weird things are happening. I don't know too much else. I am buddy reading this with Danny from Danny Dabbles, and I can't wait to see what she thinks of this, and I'm hoping that we both enjoy it. And this is going to be read during the first week of December, so this should be read very soon. The second book that I have is a book club pick for Gavin's, not Patreon, because he has switched over to YouTube's End of an Era, but of course I will be a part of his membership. So this is going to be for the members in his membership, and we are pushing back the date of the live show for this book club, because if people are coming to his YouTube membership now that they have enough time to read the book, and that is The Second Death of Locke. This has been on my TBR for a very long time. I do have the arc and I've been meaning to get to it. I've heard good things, and so I do hope that I get around to reading it before the live show. There have been times when I've read books after the live show, and yeah, let's not do that again. So the last book that I want to mention has nothing to do with buddy reads or anything, but I have started Margaret Atwood's memoirs. This is the German edition of it, and I just fell in love with her way of talking about her life. She has such a sassy way of speaking, and when you see like interviews with her, you will know it's amazing. This woman is over 80 years old, and I think she could take all of us, basically. She has attitude, and I just love it, and I want to go into this and learn more about her life. And this is, I think, maybe the only memoir, autobiography, biography, or anything that I'm reading this year, so I'm happy that I have this beast to get to in December. It's gonna be so much fun. I want to just mention it because I usually don't read this kind of things, but this is great so far. And like I said, it's the German edition of it. The translation is amazing. The narrator of the audiobook is amazing. So that is why I chose to go with the German version of it. Also because I have access to the audiobook. If you're looking for the original English version, she herself is narrating the audiobook if you want to go check it out. So that's it. That is my December TBR. Let me know down in the comments what you're reading, what your hopes and goals are for the rest of the year. And I hope you have great festive season, holiday season, whatever you're celebrating. And if you're not celebrating, just have an amazing last month of the year. And I will see you guys very soon with another video. Hopefully the content will come. But until then, I hope you have all the great reads, and don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. And until then, bye!